Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. This afternoon, the Trades Union Congress is pushing back against the newly announced utility tariff hike set for the year 2026, describing this decision as unfair to workers. After an emergency meeting, the union said that the increase by 9.8% for electricity and 15.9% for water were pushed through without completing the agreed consultation process. The TUC is demanding that government suspend the adjustments and return to the negotiation table, insisting that workers should not bear additional costs without proper engagement. Let's listen to them.
In this so-called major tariff round, the leadership of TUC at the steering committee this afternoon affirmed its outrage by the decision to increase electricity and water tariffs by 9.8% and 15.9% respectively. The PURC cumulative process with TUC for this major tariff review, as commenced at the meeting held at Aliza Hotel, was not conclusive before the announcement of those tariff increases. The PURC had sent a message to engage the TUC over the tariffs on Monday, December 8th, only for the Commission to miraculously announce the tariff on December 2nd, 2025. This we find unacceptable. Following our meeting this afternoon, the TUC has resolved as follows. 1, in the spirit of fairness and mutual respect for our social partnership, we demand that government suspends the announced tariff increases. B, government and PURC should, as a matter of priority, immediately engage as agreed to exhaust the consultative process. Leadership of TUC wishes to assure Ghanaian workers that it will resist any tariff increases that will erode the mega 9% government wage adjustment unless government comes back to the negotiation table to top up the 2026 wage adjustment. Why should for the new tariff increment come January 1, 2026, when the mega 9% pay adjustment will be paid at the end of January 2026? This obviously borders on insensitivity. Signed by the Secretary General. Thank you.
We gonna roll the union on.
Well, that news conference was held earlier today. Let's bring in now a labor expert, Austin Gummy, as we just flesh out some of the key concerns that has been raised by TUC. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. I just wanted to start with your thoughts. What's the feasibility, really, of the demands they're making, especially because we know that the 2026 budget has already been passed by Parliament?
Trying to establish, first of all, that TUC has been established to seek and protect the economic and social interests of working people in Ghana. And that is exactly what they are seeking to do. They are aware that it does not take one side to approve or disapprove. Otherwise, it will lead to chaotic kind of disorder. When it comes to the issue of adjusting pay and also tariff adjustments and so forth and so on, there are rules and there are procedures that they all follow, as I know it to be. And therefore, they will have to follow that procedure in protecting and seeking the economic and social interests of their people. There's nothing wrong with that, except, of course, it's organized labor, or TUC for that matter, and therefore language sometimes may be a little inflammatory, but it's permissible because they are TUC, and so that should not be taken on board as something grievous. All government or the employer have to do is to engage them so that they can have a solution that will satisfy both sides.
TUC, during the news conference today, they stated clearly that they want government to come back to the negotiation table. But then we do not know if they have triggered the processes. Should government be finding out about this decision via a news conference? What's the standard procedure?
Well, to be honest with you, governments, as I know it to be, I have been in that office before, the government is supposed to be proactive when it comes to issues of labor. Labor is a national security issue. And therefore, I am pretty sure, knowing the caliber of the government in place, they will have to trigger their proactive approach in calling for a national tripartite committee meeting, because these are macro issues, not necessarily the one that is negotiable in the common hands of both parties is how to adjust pay based upon the GDP of the country and related matters. Now, this is a macro issue, and workers in the utilities are members of TUC. Let me repeat that portion. Workers who work in the power sector, in the water sector, are members of TUC, and they have their general secretary that belongs, that is affiliated to the TUC, and so they are also not oblivious of the fact that these monies are there to, in one way or the other, ensure that we have a stable power for all other workers to be able to work in their various industries. So both parties have a case, and so I will not, if I were to be government, I will not shy away at all in getting the labor minister, of course, the power sector ministers, to get together to enable them to have a conversation about this issue. It's not something to go and argue for somebody to win or lose. It's something that is so sensitive and dear to the whole nation, not only people who are working in those sectors and the whole country. We need water, we need power, we need stability, and therefore all are important. So I will urge government and TUC to get to the table, leave out the insensitivity aspects of the whole thing, and talk it over. I think they can find a solution that satisfies all of us.
Talk it over, you say, but then the concern now really is that TUC has given government two options, really. Pull the brakes on the implementation of the tariff hikes, or you can go back to the negotiation table and work on our base pay increment. From where you sit, because you have sat in different labor AMPA's mediation meetings, what is the most viable option for government as we speak?
I think they have a very strong point. One, organized labor are not oblivious of the fact that we need a stable and continuing power and water, clean water, and also the working people of this country. Generally speaking, it is power that we rely on to do the work that we do. And so when they get to the table, they can talk it over. They are not asking government that tomorrow morning, if they don't withdraw the increment given by the PURC, the whole country will go in flames. That's not what they said. If I heard them well on your network, clearly what it is that they are asking government to come forward for a negotiation. Negotiation is in diverse ways. So when they get to the table, they can discuss, and TUC will either understand, amend their concern, and be part of the solution or otherwise. I think that government has a strong point I have not been consulted by anybody, but I'm talking to you from where I sit. I think that if I were to be in their shoes, both sides have a very strong point, and they should go and ventilate on the issues, as it were, and there'll be a remedy for it.
You made mention that ECG and Ghana Water Company workers are all members of TUC, and that's the challenge government has to deal with moving forward. Looking at the fact that TUC members are making this push at this point in time, the concern really is, do we even have the money to grant their requests if we're going to look at base pay renegotiation, knowing fully well that Parliament has already passed the 2026 budget?
Well, let me clarify that portion. I'm saying that the workers that work in the power sector and the water sector have their general secretary and the whole labor relations affiliated to the TUC, and therefore they have a point also, because they are also going to get pay increase. And their pay increase is based upon the fact that they are working, they increase their tariff for other people such as us, you and I, to pay, to enable them to be paid as well. It's not something that they can sell and make profit as such. And therefore, when they get to the table, indeed, I strongly believe that both parties have a very strong case. Government and PURC has a strong point which they can bring to the table. TUC has a point they can bring to the table. They will judge, at the end of the day, they will find a solution that is common and a shared solution to all of us.
Thank you so much, Austin Game is a Labour consultant. Well, still on the issue about the tariff increments, the minority on the Energy Committee, they held a news conference today. They are demanding an immediate suspension of the newly announced utility tariff increases. Last week, the PURC announced a 15.9% rise in water tariffs, as you may be aware, as well as a 9.8% increase in electricity tariff effective January. Now, the decision has sparked mixed reaction, with the minority becoming the latest to question the rationale behind the decision, especially at a time when key determinants such as the cedi are steadily appreciating. First, let's listen to the committee member, Michael Edu, who has been speaking to journalists at a news conference in Parliament. My colleague James Abeji has more.
The minority on the Energy Committee have become the latest to criticize government increment in water and electricity tariff. At the press conference here in Parliament, the minority insisted that was the Ghana cedi's appreciation or depreciation forming major part of reasons for increment, government has no business increasing the tariff when the cedi is currently appreciating against foreign major currencies.
The time where they were introducing the 1 cedi levy, one of the forceful arguments that they made was that our forex rate, the cedi depreciation, is part of the issues when it comes to calculation of tariffs. And because of the cedi depreciation, that's why we've incurred a lot of losses and so on. Apart from that, they don't have funds to buy fuel and all those things. So they are introducing 1 cedi levy to purchase fuel, and so that it will support the electricity sector and then also use it to clear legacy debt. Today, we all know FX is down. So if FX as a component of the tariff, major component is down, inflation, which is also a major component, is down, why are you increasing tariffs? Well, these are questions we believe that you, the media and Ghanaians, should ask them.
The ranking member, George Kwame Abuaje, describes the increment as a poor government decision and failed leadership as they demand an immediate suspension of the increment.
Technical losses, commercial losses, with the normal demand of about 3,500 megawatts and recent peak demand of 4,080 megawatts, 32% amounted to 1,120 megawatts and 1,305 megawatts. And if you quantify it at the price of 16 cents as at March price, this year you get $80 to $90 million losses.
Why does the government ignore this reality and instead impose measures that further impoverish Ghanaians? Instead of fixing the system, the government has chosen the lazy path of shifting its failures onto already sovereign consumers. This will completely wipe out the meager 9% wage adjustment for 2026. Consequences: if the government does not listen to the call to withdraw the tariff hikes, they are going to cause 1. Escalating utility poverty, leaving more families unable to afford basic electricity. 2. Collapse of SMEs, which form the backbone of our economy due to unbearable operating costs. We are already experiencing a teeming unemployment youth in the country. Job losses as industries scale down or shut down operations. 4. Reduced productivity and competitiveness, further weakening the economy. And then 5. Heightened social and economic hardship, deepens the suffering of workers and households. These tariff hikes are not reforms, they are punishment. They are not solutions, they are symptoms of failed leadership and poor policy choices. We call on the government to immediately halt these incessant increases. The minority stands firmly with Ghanaian workers, households, small businesses, and industries struggling to survive. We will continue to use every legitimate parliamentary tool to demand fairness, transparency, and accountability in the management of the nation's utilities. Our position remains firm and non-negotiable. These tariff hikes must be reversed immediately, and measures must be taken to protect consumers and sustain businesses.
The members of the committee on the minority side have vowed to use every parliamentary means available to them to force government hands to rescind the decision. From Parliament House here in Accra, I am James Sabeji for Joy News.
Well, still on this, let me bring in Lum Nuku Alija. He's a lawyer and lecturer, as well as an energy analyst at GIMPA. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. We just wanted to explore this further, really. We've just been hearing from TUC make their case, the reason why they're pushing for base pay renegotiations, because they feel that government should pull the brakes on the increment of tariff. But we're focusing on the energy sector. We've just been hearing from PURC and all the key major players in the energy sector defend the reason why this increment is key. They said it's to help the operations of ECG. From where you sit, how did government strike the balance, really?
Well, first of all, let's situate the conversation earlier, both from the minority and the TUC, and I see that the emphasis or the focus seems to be on government. But I say we should situate the conversation properly, because the PURC itself is designed to be independent of government. And so the function of the PURC is to determine the tariffs relative to the factors that must be considered. So in this case, if, for example, TUC is calling for base pay renegotiation, that is consistent with their mandate. It has nothing to do with asking, for example, the government to change or modify the tariff, because that's not government's role. It's the PURC. And the PURC looks at several factors, okay? So in this case, if the factors that have gone into the determination need to be interrogated, that is fine. But you also recall that the utilities in their proposals to the PURC requested significantly more than what was granted. If we take, if, for example, we are looking at a tariff proposal looking for an increment in excess of 200%.
Yes,
in this case,
and that was on distribution charges, I recall. The ECG was pushing for that on distribution charges.
Exactly. So what the PURC has done, and that's properly within their mandate as regulator, is to balance the various interests. So comparing what was proposed and what has been received, you can see a significant difference. And that difference will be accounted for by other factors, including volatility of exchange rates, fuel prices, and how the economy is doing and all of that, including inflation, which the minority mentioned. So in this case, it is to say that the government should reverse it is not is not a proper thing to say, because by law, it's a PRC that does that. And in fact, by law also, they have been specifically mandated to be independent of controls by government. But perhaps government can factor the increase in the tariff in negotiations with organized labor and so on, related to matters about salary and how that will be adequate to cover the increment and so on and so forth. But as it stands, you can see that what has been provided by the PRC is different from what the utilities propose. And it's good to look ahead, because the proposals for tariff increments are not tied to only what has happened in the past, but also to the future. As the country continues to develop and as we grow in the economy and all of that, we need to have new investments in energy in order to ensure that a year or two down the line, 5 years down the line, we still have adequate, reliable power and so on. And so the tariff is to push or incentivize the utilities to be able to do that. And again, also considering the consumers as well, because consumers must be able to pay. And so the various interests need to be balanced and come to a point where every player will be happy with it. So for me, if you ask me, from my perspective, we really need to drill down to the details of why these challenges are being raised, because what was proposed to be given starting from 1st January is significantly less than even what the utilities requested.
But some people argue really that government has already compelled citizens to pay a 1 cedi levy on every fuel we buy, just to shore up the losses at ECG and clear the existing debt. So why then do they need tariff increment, when the major problem really is to tackle the leakages within the sector?
Okay. Again, so that's why I mentioned the fact that it's a multidimensional issue. So fixing the fuel costs is just one of them. Of course, you know about the legacy debt, which also requires a lot of attention to be able to clear it in order to make sure that the energy sector can be sustainable. Beyond that, other factors like inflation, volatility of exchange rates, and you can see even right from, let's say, January to today, there has been fluctuation, not as much as in the past, but you can see that at one point, Ghana, the cedi to dollar moved even from 10, it came all the way down to about 9, it came to 12, it went to 11 and so on. These are things that the PRC need to keep their eye on. And as they have noted, and which is consistent also with their mandate, every quarter there will be a review. So even when this tariff is implemented, they're subject to review based on these various indices. And that is not only about fuel, it's about the other things as well. And so, as I mentioned, it is not an easy job for the PRC to do that balancing act, looking at the various factors it has to consider, as well as the need for investment by the utilities in the future. And also, we should be clear that this tariff is not only about ECG, because there are other players also who are in the sector. Whatever is collected by ECG, it goes to paying fuel supplies, it goes to paying the generating companies, it goes to paying Gridco, the transmission company, and so on. So it is a mixed bag of realities that the regulator needs to take into account in determining what tariff to give. And this is the major tariff review, which is done every 3 to 5 years. And so if you look at the various requests from Ghana Water, from ECG, from Gridco, and so on, you see that they are falling short significantly from what they requested, what they believe will enable them to be on top of all these issues, including dealing with the losses and so on. So as I said, what the PRC has done looks at the balancing act of the various stakeholders. But if there's a need to interrogate further how the PRC determined the tariff, that is fair enough. But as it stands, it is quite unfair to drill down simply to fuel issues and matters related to commercial and technical losses.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lom Nuku, for your time here on The Pulse. Well, away from that, let's head to the courts now, because an Accra High Court has dismissed an application by lawyers for the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the new Patriotic Party, Antwi Boasiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, seeking additional disclosures from the prosecution. The defense had argued that the documents they requested were crucial to the management of the case During today's hearing, both sides argued their position, with Deputy Attorney General Justice Ramsay urging the court to dismiss the application. After considering the submission, Presiding Judge Audrey Tay ruled against the defense, effectively striking out the request. Fatal Bayaga was in court. He filed the report.
Chairman Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the new Patriotic Party, is back in court today in relation to the Samaraboy concession case. In this case, Wontumi is facing charges for granting mining activities in his concession without the necessary ministerial approval. The last time the court sat on the issue, lawyers for Chairman Wontumi, led by Andy Appiah-Kubi, told the court that the prosecution should disclose some further details or documents to help in this particular case. The court then adjourned the case to today, and in today's case, the presiding judge, after listening to the arguments by both Wontumi's lawyers and the prosecution led by the Deputy Attorney General Justice Ramsay, dismissed this particular application. Despite that the application was dismissed, Chairman Wontumi's lawyers say they are happy with the court's decision.
Though the court said that the documents we were looking for were irrelevant as per the Attorney General's submission, we are confident that same will not be tendered or relied on during the trial, and we achieved the purpose for which we filed the motion. So we are very happy this morning that there is no proof of conveyance. There is no proof of ownership of those equipment coming from Chairman Wontumi. So these were the positions that we sought in our application. Indirectly, we have gotten them. What it means is that the Attorney General cannot bring any surprise of a document purportedly authored by Chairman Wontumi to the said Henry Inkum. And that the Attorney General can also not bring any document proving ownership of Chairman Wontumi in respect of those ammunitions that the police purportedly seized on site.
Well, let me bring in the lead counsel for Chairman Wontumi, Andy Appiah-Kubi. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. I just wanted to get your initial reaction. We've just been hearing from you just outside the court saying you achieved your purpose. How exactly did that happen? You have to unmute for me to hear you clearly, sir. Mr. Andy Appiah-Kubi, you have to unmute for me to hear you clearly. We're just trying to reconnect our lines to speak to Andy Appiah-Kubi, his lawyer for Chairman Wontumi. He's just giving us updates as to what exactly transpired in court. They have been pushing prosecution to release certain documents to them, as they say that it will aid their defense for the case in court. Unfortunately, today the High Court judge presiding over the case struck out the application. I'm just getting in touch with Andy Appiah-Kubi right now, who's on the line. I'm told I have clear connection to him now. You say that your mandate has been fulfilled. How exactly is that? Explain it to me, because the court has struck out your application.
Right. Our application was seeking further disclosures, and the documents we did were the conveyance between Chairman Wontumi and the witness statement who filed, the witness who filed his witness statement. Indeed, perusing the witness statement, we realized that the witness had alleged that Chairman Wontumi assigned his interest in the land to him to do the mining, and that the Chairman Wontumi's offense is that he did not seek the concurrence or the permission of the minister to make that grant. So we had come to court seeking a copy of the document purportedly authored by Dr. Chairman Wontumi, granting access or transferring his title to the said witness. And in response to our application, the Attorney General made the court aware that there is no such conveyance or there is no such document transferring title to the said witness, and therefore that document doesn't exist. Indeed, our application had the objective of seeking the existence or otherwise of the said document purportedly transferring interest in the concession to the witness. And for us, the purpose is achieved because Attorney General says that there is no such document in existence. And that's all we sought to verify. Again, the witness had said that the police seized some ammunitions on site, and that these ammunitions are in the custody of the police. That is from the witness statement. And we said that, and they are saying that the ammunitions were given to them by Chairman Wontumi. So I had gone to court seeking a proof of ownership of the seized equipment. And the Attorney General is saying that they don't have any evidence or proof that the equipments are owned by Chairman Wontumi. For us, that is the essence of what we sought from the court. And now that we know that there is no such evidence of...
Oh dear, we seem to have...
of the witness saying that Chairman Wontumi gave it to them cannot be sustained. And again, the fact of the matter is that the Attorney General says they are not privy to any document seeking to transfer interest to their witness. So let them come to prove how the Chairman Wontumi transferred his interest to the witness. And it is a matter for them to prove. We are satisfied that there is no such document transferring interest from Chairman Wontumi or Tamais to the said witness. So let us move on. Now that we know that Chairman Wontumi has not transferred any such interest, let them come and prove how Chairman Wontumi transferred his interest to such a witness. So we are satisfied with the ruling. And indeed, if the Attorney General had come to court saying that there is no such document and that we don't have any proof of ownership of the ammunitions as laying with Chairman Wontumi, we ourselves would have withdrawn the matter. You understand? We would have withdrawn the motion because that is what we sought to do, to verify whether or not they are in possession of a document purporting to transfer the title of the concession to another person. They have answered it. The court also acknowledges the fact that no such document exists. So we are fine, we move on.
But do I get a sense you're well aware that the Deputy Attorney General and government, to be precise, did not even have this document in their possession in the first place?
Well, whether or not they had a document in possession, that was the government of the child. He has transferred interest to the witness without due authority. So if they say that they don't have any document confirming such transfer, we are fine.
And what does this mean for your case moving forward, as we wrap up briefly?
No, we will come back and organize a case management conference. So we are ready for it. We were only concerned with mobilizing all the necessary documents before we start our defense. So now that that document doesn't exist, we are ready for the case management conference.
Thank you so much, Andy Appiah-Kubi, counsel for Chairman Wontumi. You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay with us. Well, from the stories we've documented, we find out that many families only survive if they can raise tens of thousands of dollars to travel outside the country, because Ghana has not been able to build a single facility capable of offering bone marrow transplant and advanced leukemia care. And that's one of the concerns, Gerald, you have raised as an organization and as a foundation. You want to change that narrative in Ghana. But first of all, paint a picture for me. How dire is the situation?
Well, I was going to correct you, slight correction. Now, of course, you've done a research, but, research are figures, numbers. So, but the point is that it is not even their only chance of surviving. It's still, even when they raise the money and access it from outside, there are other intervening conditions that reduces their chances because they've waited for long. They've waited to get a match. They've waited to raise funds. So by the time they probably make the money, their chances for surviving would have reduced.
So it's still a money problem, isn't it?
It's still a money problem. It's still a chance problem. So what we're trying to do is to increase the chances, reduce the risk, increase the chances of those parents, and looking at the fact that not everybody would be successful in raising the amount of money that is required to go outside, then we're better off trying to use other means to improve their chances of living. Currently, it's like 0 chance for the majority, and then 50-50 for those who can afford it.
And what is the biggest barrier people face, really, based on the survey you have done on the grounds? Because you deal with a lot of patients and parents as well.
So I would even say that based on survey, what kind of survey? No survey, because then we've just collecting pure data, incidental most of the time. There are cases where people fall down, they go into an X-ray, they go into an MRI, they realize that they've had stage 2 leukemia. So awareness is one of the major things, and that's how the project started. Then we realized that following awareness, we need to help with the diagnostics. We need to help with the early diagnosis. And then that we thought, or the project thinks that then that would improve the chances. But then if you make people aware and you do the early diagnosis and then it's confirmed, what next? Because with some leukemia, most of it, the solution or sometimes the management is the bone marrow transplant. So we're saying the bone marrow transplant is a high-tech thing, big technology thing that we don't have in West Africa. I think the closest place we have that sort of technology is in South Africa. And so even that is still expensive to raise the funds to take patients there. And then to take patients there, we're talking about, for every person that you take there, you're talking about 2, minimum 2. You need a match and a caregiver. So if your caregiver is an elderly person, you need more than 1 person. If the person is a family person, you need a spouse and a caregiver and probably a match. So that adds up to the cost, accommodation and all that. Something that if we have the technology in Ghana, your caregivers are right here in Ghana, your matches are right here in Ghana, your diagnosis is also here. You can confirm and reconfirm and then manage the procedure. So for now, a lot of the hospitals that are managing leukemia or leukemia symptoms are just managing, helping. Sometimes they're coming very late, so all they're doing is to help them to start to say, but to have a peaceful exit.
And that's another concern many have raised, especially medical doctors, the fact that people show up too late. But then another concern is that detection is also a problem. Do we even have the facilities to detect leukemia early? Because we've heard from patients say that they went to the hospital quite a number of times before they finally found out that it was leukemia.
So with detection and all that, I'll leave it to the doctors. But from just a layman's point of view, if you don't even know what you're looking for as a layperson in terms of symptoms, then you might even start self-medication before you realize that this thing is serious. I need to see a doctor. Then you go in and then it's all very late. So you're right. It starts from the awareness, but then just to answer the question, we may have limited diagnostics equipment. We may have limited diagnosing procedure in the country. Because again, research is very limited. I mean, I simply say, and I haven't checked my last figures, but if you look at the number of hematologists that specialize in leukemia, that probably should tell you that it's an indication of how little we know, or the few people. And you can actually count when we're doing our documentary and sort of going around the country, I almost know them by name. I mean, Whereas with Ghanaian ops, there are numerous, but with the hematologists that deal with leukemia, I can call them. I know all of them because we've spoken to almost all of them, and the story is the same. Many stories, different people,
And money is always a problem because even the health insurance scheme doesn't fully cover leukemia.
No.
And so some individuals will have to pay for chemotherapy, and money is always a problem. But you're helping fix that at your foundation to raise funds. How are you doing this?
Well, initially, that was our focus, where we thought, okay, we help those who can't afford it. But we realized that even for those who can afford it, like we've said already, if the diagnosis comes late and they're waiting for a match and they have to travel, it comes back to the same thing. So money doesn't even help, even if you can afford it. Okay, so it is having that technology here to, first of all, diagnosis. With the awareness, we're helping, you're helping. Joy, ever since we started this, has been involved. Other people, we do all the events and programs to raise the awareness. But then comes in, then how do we get if people go and you want to even test them, how do you get the early diagnosis? How do we, when you find them, how do we prepare them, manage them, sort of support them till they get some appropriate management procedure? So that's what Leukemia Project Foundation started first, trying to help the victims. And we realized that the amount of money we have to raise, if you add it up, accumulate it, and put it together, and you have a partner in country or partner outside to bring the technology back home, it might do a lot of good. It might reduce the amount of money that people will have to raise to receive care. It might almost bring it down to the levels of the other cancers which are being managed in country. So that sort of objective or the outlook is what Leukemia Project Foundation was looking for. So I wouldn't say we stopped, but we did raise funds for isolated critical cases where the prognosis is almost like good, and we can say the success rate or the survival rate will be high. By the way, children have a higher survival rate. So again, the reason why we should have the technology in-house. And they're the ones that would also not survive when they have to travel abroad.
And you're pushing for Ghana to get their first ever center for hematology, especially because of some of the concerns you've raised about access to healthcare.
Yes.
How is that project ongoing?
It's doing well. I mean, it started a long time ago. We've presented our case to different authorities finally, or eventually Kolebu came on board with an MOU, and much like something like the cardiothoracic center sort of model, we help build it, get the specialist in, get the training, support with the management, the running of it. And for us, we think it has to be in a center, either Kolebu or wherever it has to be in a center so that it will benefit. The whole bone marrow transplant is not a huge warfare operation, rocket science thing, right? But if it finds itself in a center of excellence like Kolebu or a teaching hospital, then it benefits from all the other departments, all the other specialties, where it will make it more feasible, more sustainable to have it there. So the idea of having an MOU with Kolebu was very, very feasible, or subsequently with other major centers will be most preferable, because then you're there. The hematology, the blood bank is there, the other disciplines of medicine are there to support with the process.
So you have the parcel of land now.
We have Kolebu, thankfully, gave us a parcel of land. We cut the ceremonial sword just to show donors that it's not just one of those projects that would stop by the way. We have teams of our project people dealing with the Kolebu technical and the estate people that know what they're about, know what should be placed, and even the engineers in Kolebu, medical engineers in Kolebu are supporting that. So we have that. And we have our drawings as well. We have a team of architects and building technologists who have put together. And of course, this whole project has been influenced by the specialists, the hematologist, Dr. Day and team, Dr. Akem and team, and Dr. Appiah-Kubi. they have influenced what it should look like, because they and their successors are going to work in that environment to bring about this more lasting and sustainable, I wouldn't say solution, but intervention to increase the chances of our leukemia victims.
And then what's the timeline you're giving yourself as a foundation?
You know, timelines always go with money. And so with the money that we have and with the hope that we have and with the conviction that we have, I mean, at our last concert, a lot of people's eyes were open to the fact that this is really and truly an important project that is required. So with all that in mind, we're hoping that within 2 years, a bit ambitious, sometimes it scares me, but I'm hoping that a bit more like-minded people, organizations like Joy will come on board. I mean, already we have, if you permit me, we have people, and I need mentioning them to encourage others, because Stanbic has always been with us. There are other organizations that have supported us, EcoBank, GCB, Engineers and Planners, recently Ghana Reinsurance, Fidelity Bank, Cosmo Chemicals, 8Gate, LS, and a few mining companies have come on board with donations. But we're looking at those big bang contributions that will say we'll take up the first floor, we'll take up all the engineering works, we'll take up all the cement works. You know, that would reduce our delivery time. Because so every day that we wait, in fact, within the time that we were planning our last concert, we knew some patients that were hoping that would give personal testimonies agreed. We lost all of them within 2 weeks. Yes.
How many?
3. Yeah.
The situation is quite dire.
Yes.
And because you deal with them directly, I'm sure you've heard stories. For you, which one breaks your heart the most? Tell me a personalized story that you have experienced on the ground dealing with patients.
Difficult, because then I've tried to get over it, and then I don't want you to get me there.
Quite emotional for you. So as we wrap up the conversation, I'm sure those of our colleagues watching across the country as well as online, I've been seeing your messages here. That's what I'm looking at. Some people want to know how they can be a part of the project. And you're very emotional, even just thinking about this individual. So I'll give you just a few seconds as we look at some of the comments that are coming through on all our social media platforms. Some individuals are pushing that. In fact, this gentleman says, it's high time government steps in to help. Another lady says, please put out your details so that we can also donate. And so we'll give you the opportunity to put out your details so that they can reach out to you and donate as well. So whilst we're waiting for that, you can also share your thoughts with us on all our social media platforms. We're Joy News on TV. Now, this is a project we're working with together with the Leukemia Foundation. And on your screens now are the account details on Stanbic Bank, EcoBank, as well as mobile money. You can give your donations to the numbers you can see on your screens. Please take a screenshot of it so that you can always refer to it. And this is something that we're doing. The Impact Makers Foundation here at Joy News is working together with the Leukemia Foundation because they believe that this is the way to go. And we believe same the reason why we're partnering them to have this happen. And very soon we're putting out that documentary. We've been playing the promo for a while now, but just to bring the story home and tell you the stories of individuals who are battling leukemia. And I must say this, I lost a friend to leukemia as well. So it brings the story back home for me. And Gerard is in the studio, very teary as we speak, just going through some of the thoughts in his mind, individuals who he was very hopeful they will at least see the end of the year, but unfortunately lost their lives as a result of leukemia. And so they have this ambitious project they're embarking on to build Ghana's first center for hematology and clinical genetics. That's their goal and their vision. They have signed an MOU with Kolebu Teaching Hospital. They have the parcel of land. They've given themselves a very ambitious timeline of 2 years to put up the structure. And we saw on our screens earlier just the architectural framework they're working with, something that they're looking to put together within a period of 2 years. And so be a part of this project. Send your donations to the numbers you can see on your screen. Let's make this happen in Ghana. We appreciate your time so much, Gerald. I apologize for making you emotional. I see how dear it is to you, this project, and we're wishing you all the best here at Joy News, as well as the Impact Makers Foundation. We're always here to support you. And just as we wrap up, do you have any final words for our audience?
Well, I mean, you said it all. You know, it's time that we do this. When you think about it and you think that there's something you can do and you can't do it, that's what breaks you. So, I mean, I'm just hoping that we'll go through this and see the end and reduce the pain of people.
Thank you so much, Gerald. And this is a great initiative. I haven't seen a man cry all year. And so it tells you how passionate he is about this. And honestly speaking, you must get on board. I will be giving my donations as well as an individual. And as a multimedia group, we're solidly behind you. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Well, away from that, let's take you now to Mankasim, because tensions are rising in Mankasim as residents accuse Parliament of dragging its feet on the Awoya Lithium project. The residents have threatened to protest if the delay continues. Traditional leaders are struggling to hold tensions down, appealing to the president to fulfill his campaign promise and ensure the lease is rectified. Emmanuel Jivenu has more in our episode. Today's episode, precisely, of Hope on Pause, the Lithium promise.
Freeze on all developments remains in force within the Mankasim Awoya enclave. Residents are still waiting for Parliament to ratify the Awoya lithium mining lease. The delay leaves families unsure of what comes next, and many are turning the frustration towards traditional leaders who asked them to cooperate 2 years ago. The chief linguist for the Mankasim traditional area, Kwame Esel, says he supports the project, but the slow parliamentary process now places all the pressure on traditional authorities. Young men who should be farming are now tired of waiting, and some are openly planning protests because they believe traditional leaders are hiding information. The chiefs are constantly appealing for restraint, but these conversations are becoming more difficult.
That's a young man and cry. I hear about the cocoa. That I chaban or said on by Rodan, Bibi hard. Then you had the baby high. I will bag a young mogo. Make it a mo. You better than Mamma Bedada. Shall bag him at dry. I have no beer. You the beer boga, Coswalk. Now, since I said, now, yes, I want to unquote. You can see the baby in that. You want one baby.
Paramount Chief of the Nkusukum traditional area, Nana Okasi Esando IX, says he is now managing rising agitations almost every week and has had to step in several times to stop residents from demonstrating because they fear losing their farmlands and homes without compensation.
I'm not father in the agro.
Get a brog, and I'm a bit of Osana, I what was I pay? Yeah, by into Bessie, Massey, I paradigm, I pass a man yet. And I best season, a man, and BBC says a man yet. A man by the pay, by into best season.
You see, I don't hear from the day. When we are stopping, man. Yeah, dear crow, yam, young qua. Say, I'm a fair and quiet, you young qua.
But this led to so many agitations, which could have led to demonstrations and anarchies. And as I sit here, I tried my possible best as Omahin to avert most of them by appealing to the people who wanted to demonstrate and explain issues to them.
Every passing month increases mistrust towards traditional leadership. Chiefs say they are now carrying the burden of defending a process that only Parliament can unlock, and some residents no longer believe explanations from the palace.
It is making some of us like, let me use the word, like we are liars. We are not telling them the truth. Because we go to meeting, we come and tell them that things are on course and they see nothing. Please, use your good office and try your possible best and have this project ratified for us.
The chiefs can only hold back anger for so long. And if Parliament continues delaying the ratification, traditional leaders may soon struggle to calm residents who feel their future has been put on pause without explanation.
I saw a problem yesterday, man. Because I didn't want you to me not to pay for about one more come out as I said. I banana didn't about it anymore. So I'll show you my EP on my kata. That's how made in one side, no one's here. No more looking at away. Watch me, you, and I cut was I. I'll come out here, you will know about cat and what I aware.
During the 2024 general election campaign, many residents say they listened carefully when the then candidate John Dramani Mahama visited the Central Regional House of Chiefs and promised swift attention to the lithium mining lease if elected. Chiefs in this enclave say they repeated the assurance to the people, and it now contributes to the pressure they are facing. Osajefo Amanfo Edu VI is the paramount chief of Mankasim traditional area.
I was so happy about the answer you give. Your answer had two parts. The first part was that, as at that time, the party in power had the majority. So if they want to approve it, they could.
Nana Mankasim, it can't be true that the opposition is against the lithium project, because why do they call us the minority? We don't have the numbers. They are more. There are 138 of them. And so how can we stop anything? If they want to pass it, they'll pass it because they have the numbers.
The turntable has turned. Your party, NDC, is in power. So if they want to approve it, they can. And I know for sure that because Cabinet has approved it, it means it's a deal. You also made a very valuable statement, and I learned a lot from it. You made me hear for the first time the word stranded assets. It came from you, Your Excellency. I will urge you, if your people can play that address, the response to my question when you came to the Regional House of Chiefs.
Research is going on, and new sources for these electric vehicles are being discovered beyond lithium. Recently, the Japanese have discovered some other way of creating these electric vehicles that don't use lithium. And so as these inventions are coming, right now lithium is the favored choice for batteries for electric vehicles. But if we don't mine it quickly, a time will come they'll discover something else, and the value of lithium will go down. It has already come down. with some of the new inventions that are being announced. So if we have this resource, the better we mine it as quickly as possible and take advantage of it. Otherwise, if time passes by, we have what we call stranded assets. You have an asset, but it's stranded. There's no longer any need for it. And so I think that is something, this is a national cause. If that revenue comes, it's going to come to help the whole nation, not only Mankesem. So it's something that all of us must support. And Nana, me and you are on the same wavelength. We'll work together to make sure that this thing goes forward.
So the aspect of the majority and the aspect of the stranded assets, they've all turned in your favor. Do something now.
For now, chiefs will continue to ask residents to remain patient, but they admit the pressure is rising, and without parliamentary action, the possibility of demonstrations and civil unrest will become harder to prevent. Emmanuel Chivenu, Joy News, Central Region.
Well, let's explore this further here on the Pulse. Let me bring in Osajifo Amanfo Edu VI. He's the Paramount Chief for Mankesim Traditional Area. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. We've just been hearing you tell us how dire the situation is on the grounds, but for individuals who just tuned in, every week, how many of some of these protest threats do you have to deal with on the grounds?
Well, thank you. The reality is that Fansaman is a very big area with 4 traditional areas. So we have Mankesim traditional area, Nkusukum traditional area, Anomabo traditional area, then Abazi Dominasi. Then so far as the lithium is concerned, it also going to include one of the project affected areas is Abura traditional area. So, and there are pockets of communities. So sometimes some of these agitations may come from a particular community. So the other paramount chiefs or other traditional areas may not know anything about it. But let's talk about realities. Whether it is any of the traditional areas, the key issue now is this, that Parliament must do whatever it can to ratify the lease. From my experience as a miner, what I know is that the most difficult of all the permits to be obtained before mining commences is the one from the Environmental Protection Agency. And in the case of the Eweya project, the EPA organized 2 public forums. The first public forum was organized at Eweya, one of the project-affected communities, and the second one was organized at Krampakrum, where you showed the agitations. And thereafter, all the processes, due processes that needs to be done so that the EPA issues its environmental permit in line with LI 1694 of 1999 has been done. Even another crucial issue is that environmental permit is time bound. And if we don't take care, it's also going to expire. That means the whole process will have to start again. Well, what I can tell you is that we, the project affected paramount chiefs, myself, Mankasim, Inkusukum, and Abra, in fact, we had an invitation to face the parliamentary committee for land and forestry last week, Wednesday. The assurance given us is very positive. But the question is, because of the way previous assurances did not materialize, we find it very difficult to go back to our people and tell them.
Did Parliament give you any timeline during your meeting with them?
Well, we appealed that the ratification should be granted before they break for Christmas holidays. That was our request. But we learned that, as part of the due processes, various stakeholders, they advertised the whole process as specified in law. And various stakeholders, CS, whatever, have really written to them. So they did not want to short-circuit it. They wanted to make sure that all those people who have presented various petitions they wanted to meet everybody who has presented a petition so that at least they get to know what their issues are.
And as we wrap up briefly, did they give you a timeline as to when they'll be done with this meeting?
No.
Okay.
We have had our 10. Like I said, last week, Wednesday, 3rd December, we had our 10. And we learned that others will be coming.
So no timeline as we speak?
Sorry?
So no timeline, official timelines from Parliament as we speak?
No.
Thank you so much. Osagyefo Amanfo Edu the 6th. He is Paramount Chief for Mankasim Traditional Area. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. Well, away from that, we would be giving you a special conversation here on The Pulse after this quick turn, because get ready for Dirty December with Joy. Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, I promised you a conversation on Dirty December. Don't worry, we have something lined up for you. And we'll tell you why you should stay with us here at the Multimedia Group. But before that, Seoul Power Company and Baltech Company Limited, two leading brands in solar-related systems, have handed over an 850 kilowatts peak solar system to Syntex manufacturing plant to help save electricity bills. Let's watch this. We'll be right back.
The Deputy Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah, says the project represents an important advancement in Ghana's pursuit of sustaining competitive energy, emphasizing that the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition remains dedicated to diversifying the national energy mix, alleviating grid pressure and providing industry with reliable and affordable power, adding that by the initiative, Syntex Tank Factory has made strategic decision to lower electricity costs by aligning its operations with contemporary global sustainability standard. Richard Jan Mensah, Deputy Minister of Energy and Green Transition, said this at the handing over of an 850 kilowatts per hour solar system to Syntex manufacturing factory at Tema.
In my submission that government is looking at producing about 1,400 megawatts power from renewable sources from now to 2030. And if I say renewable sources, it's not only solar. We are looking at nuclear, we are looking at wind, we are looking at waste to energy. these are some of the sources that we are looking at. Currently, today we have commissioned this project, which is almost about 1 megawatt. So I was even I indicated that if we are talking about our need for 1,400 now from today, we have actually made some achievements. So we are reducing it, and I believe that with the commitment and the support from government, industries also on board, we'll be able to attain that target that we set for ourselves.
The marketing manager for Soul Power, Jesse Dumpty, adds that as Soul Power hands over the system to Syntex, Soul Power reaffirms its commitment to diversifying and delivering reliable future-proof solutions across Ghana.
This installation demonstrates Syntex's leadership and forward-thinking, commitment to reducing carbon emissions, lowering operational costs, and strengthening resilience in the energy sector.
The manager for Syntex company, Karan Budrani, reiterated the company's journey has been their commitment to going green.
We strive to reduce our environmental footprint through innovation, smarter manufacturing techniques, energy efficiency, and responsible resource. Our focus is clear: to contribute meaningful to a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable future. In line with this commitment, we are proud to acknowledge Soul Power, the team that is responsible for this design, supply, and installation of the solar system for this project. Their expertise, professionalism, and dedication towards renewable energy have played a key role in today's achievement and making this possible. This partnership reflects our belief, our collaboration, and our organization that shares a responsible vision.
Their focus as a company is to contribute meaningfully to a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable future.
It's festive season. You don't have to have a dirty December, please. It can be very clean. You can start on a very clean note. Akopa is with me in the studio as well as Kwame Datsi. The award-winning, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Yes, the award-winning is in the studio. Please sign my autograph for me, please. Oh my God. So what's happening this December? What should we look forward to? Let's start with Yakofa.
Okay, so the thing with the multimedia group is that every season we bring you something awesome, something exciting, and this year is no different. So as usual, we're bringing you our 9 lessons and carols. With the 9 lessons and carols, for instance, I think we actually booked. Yeah, the seats are filled basically. Yeah. So
my dear Lord,
and it's strictly by invitation.
Strictly by invitation.
Am I invited?
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
No, don't give. No, come and see me later. We'll determine if you're invited or not. But yeah, so the 9 lessons and carols is happening on the 13th. That's this Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Labadi Beach Hotel, and
you can see that on your screens right now if you're watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's exciting about it is that the Grace Choral, I believe, will be representing, and they've got amazing voices. Last year they came through, and it was fantastic. Kwame Dazi was the MC alongside, one other amazing.
I tried singing.
And okay,
and it was amazing.
Do we want to get into that? No. Well, amazing is
Kwame singing is like Lexus Bill dancing. They both.
My God,
they tried.
Oh, you don't write my name and Lexus Bill's name in the same sentence.
Oh my God, you tried.
You only do that if you are comparing maybe broadcasting.
Oh wow, I'm sorry.
Oh my. So yes, 9 lessons and carols happening this Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Labadi Beach Hotel. We've got this year it's a bit different as well. Obviously, we will go through the lessons. We'll read the Bible and all of that. We've got performances from awesome comedians and also from our artists as well. We've got Lexi the comic passing through. Perez Music will be there. Feriamposa. So the thing is, when Feriamposa was put on the bill, one of the things I asked, my colleagues was like, okay, wait. So Feriamposa is coming to sing a Christmas carol. Like, I know my Auntie, like, he will give us those vibes, but he will do something Christmassy for us. And that's something that
he will do a remix.
He will do, maybe.
You could do Christmas.
Oh, Lord. No, but I think, okay, this is something we can work with.
To us his
he can sing. Trying to prove to us that he can sing.
We'll take it like that.
Yeah, we'll take it like that. So a host of others as well. Jacinta will be passing through as well. And we also have Gwendolyn, and not forgetting, we have Pastor Ella Sumwa. She'll also be performing as well. So lots and lots of things to look out for. I am particularly excited about the carols because, Christmas is like a big deal for me and everything. All the singing and everything.
Also because you love to sing.
Well, yeah,
that's
so
well.
Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Kwame Dazi will continue with the Party in the Park.
Party in the Park, I'm looking forward to.
After that, on 26th December, we're going to Abri Botanical Gardens where we coming together with the family. You know, this is a time you need to go out there with the family. You know, most times, because of our schedules and all that, we don't get time to move out and have a good time with our family. So this time around, and usually this is what we do. This is the reason we bring your way the family party in the park. We give you that opportunity to bond with the family. So you meet us there at Abri Botanical Gardens, 9 a.m. We are set. We give you chairs, tables, water, and there will be food vendors there. You can also come with your food as well. Now, there is one thing that is very, very, very important to family party in the park, the daddy's corner. That is where the daddies get to sit down and take in things that the other kids can't. You get it? There is pork available.
If you don't get it, forget it. We're not even going to explain that for you, please.
There is a palm wine high life band stand there. We give you, after that, we give you performances from Kwabena. Dope Nation is representing live. Dope Nation. And then we have another performance by Kwampa.
So the thing about Kwampa is I think dads will do like a Jama session with Kwampa. So last year it was awesome. I think it went on for hours. I don't know how long this year is going to run for. So when I was talking about it, Lexis mentioned that according to him, he was part of the Jama and he was dancing. Yeah, I don't believe that. But this year, we'll see it for ourselves. Yes. I'll bring my binoculars. I'll be checking him out and see if, he can really dance this time around.
I think I saw him dance.
Hey, please don't come and defend him on. He didn't dance.
Okay, he danced.
And so we have all these performances, and you just pay 300 Ghana cedis to be part of this.
Only?
For a family of 6.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, I'm going to be there, but I'm not sure we're up to 6. So please, if you don't have money, just call me. I'll add you to my family.
Yes.
And then, yes, that's it.
Can I be part of your family?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can buy the tickets.
Okay.
Now.
Now.
Please buy now, not a day to the day.
Exactly.
All right. So you just write this number. There's a Momo number. It's 059 303 8842. 059-303-8842, and the account name is Daniel Boyfew.
Okay.
Daniel Boyfew.
So they can send their money to the account. How would they get their tickets then?
So when you pay for the ticket, if you like, you reference it with your name and then PIP.
Oh,
PIP. And then when you come to the gate, we just check the reference number.
And then you're good to go.
Give you access into the...
Oh, that's good. So the process is digital now?
Yes.
Yes, but you can also come to the front desk of Joy FM and buy physical tickets as well. So you have options. You can just buy via Momo, or you come to the front desk of Joy FM and then you purchase the ticket. 300 Ghana cedis for a family of 6. That's a cool deal,
Yes, and we're looking forward to, just as we wrap up, the 90s Jam I'm looking forward to as well.
Yes.
I know you love the 90s Jam.
I love the 90s Jam, but what happened with me last year was I was out of town. So this year, I have to be there.
Should I say the truth?
What's that? Okay. No, you can't. You can't. No, so this year we're wrapping the 90s Jam. We mentioned off air actually that we'll bring you more details. But all you have to, if you have been to the 90s Jam over the period, you clearly know what to expect. Absolutely amazing stuff, awesome performances from our DJs, top notch, and you get to interact with on-air personalities, our multimedia. Kwame Dazi will give you a little bit of hype man related stuff. Kofi Hayford will come through.
Lexus Bill will
give you all. KMJ has energy for days. KMJ will be there, so you can imagine. And then Fosti will try and match up the energy as well. So
is there anything she can?
I'll try.
Help?
Yeah, well, she probably will just jump on the stage, hopefully. But we're looking forward to
that and all the details here on the Joy News channel. So we appreciate your time. Please make sure your December starts on a clean note. Please don't dirty yourself yet. Just stay with us with the Christmas Carol. And that's how we wrap up the Pulse. My name is Faustina Safo. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. See you same time tomorrow. Bye.